Hello, everybody. Good morning. As Chris mentioned, my name is Robert Matney, and it's my honor to lead government partnerships on the Primer AI team. The Primer's mission is clear. We deliver mission-ready AI software to those who protect our country. Now, transparently, I want to share that I've never had the honor to serve in the military. I was, however, raised with respect for my father's service in the Navy and my mother's immense support as a military spouse. I know the service they rendered to the continuous requirement to earn, maintain, and win democratic freedom. And those lessons cannot help but stick. Now, I've spent my own career facilitating adoption of emerging technology. And now I have the opportunity, as well as the imperative, to bring my own background to support your mission to defend our nation and democracy at large. So, Chris, thank you, and NextGov again for bringing us all together for this critical conversation about adopting AI and about its role in our national advantage. I hope today's conversation offers useful ideas to accelerate our shared efforts. But enough about me, let's dig into the topic. So let's start by unpacking our shared mission at hand. Why must we get serious about AI? And why right now? So we all know about the DoD's command to be AI ready by 2025, and we know about our global competitors' massive investments in AI. And we know innovation is no longer measured in hardware years, it's measured in coding weeks. The urgency for technological adoption has never been more manifest. There's an aphorism. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And while insightful, we lack the luxury of that binary. We must go fast and far because we know that the race is on, not only to secure advantages for our citizens generally, but also to manifest the ability to respond to a day zero attack that wakes us on a quiet Sunday morning with immeasurable impact. Because we are in an arms race for AI. We all know those are the real stakes. The country that gets modern, reliable, AI-enabled software capabilities into the hands of its analysts, operators, and decision makers first will win. And there is no prize for second place, and we don't really need to speculate on the consequences. And we know it's not easy. Embarking on an AI journey may feel daunting. Artificial intelligence and natural language processing is moving so fast. And while senior military leaders know it's important, they may not always be sure how best to deploy it. Already overwhelmed with data, confronting cuts to manpower and budgets, they may be unsure of what AI can actually do for their mission. And there's risk for their teams, whose lives may be on the line in the event of a mistake, and for their careers, which could be ended if the reality does not meet the hype. We must be daring but prudent, and our speed of learning is the greatest lever we have. And the people in this room know those conversations probably better than anyone alive. But we also know that the defense industrial base faces structural vulnerabilities as surfaced by the Ukraine war. And those vulnerabilities include length of time to contract, logistical supply chain constraints, and also our own time to deploy technology. In general, it's clear that we need to leverage AI to optimize processes and elevate our workforce to do more with less and to work smarter. So let me bucket a few of the challenges I see in this way. 1, workforce. 2, policy. And 3, acquisition at speed. Now, this first bucket is all about our people. Last year, the U.S. Army missed 25% of its recruitment targets at 15,000, and the U.S. Air Force missed its targets by 12,000. And those numbers are expected to get worse this year. New skills are needed for sure, and some that are crucial for our national security, like advanced data science and machine learning, those are exceptionally hard to recruit and to retain. AI has a role not only in filling those performance gaps, but also in efficiently identifying the right talent, those qualified young people who are likely to want to join, and then training them to succeed. The second bucket is the policy and ethics side of the house. As with all new technology, there is, as of yet, little trust. As technologists, we have to earn that trust through the value of the products that we build. It's on us to build in-product scalable safeguards that support compliance, security, privacy, and also ethics. But to do that, we need to be able to sit in the room with the users of the software and understand their pain points and their workflows, to understand their challenges from legacy systems, from unwieldy data repository landscapes, and also from the lack of in-house data science talent. We need that so that we can fine-tune robust, stable solutions to meet the specific mission needs, and so that we can train up those teams so that they can leverage the resulting AI with confidence. Thirdly, the acquisition process must allow for agile iteration, which is simply how we build emerging tech. As part of this, we need to make access to data and users easier so that we can better tune where AI can help users do more with less to achieve discrete missions. So we can do what we do best, iterate fast and deliver valuable capabilities that are trusted. And we must adopt a more flexible acquisition process that allow technologists like us to support service members in a sustainable and ongoing way. It is, in the end, a matter of building and maintaining trust. And that means establishing a long-term partnership that is anchored on a joint commitment to the mission. Okay, so where do we start? How do we, in light of the stakes and the urgency, go fast and far to achieve a reliable decision advantage? The path, I assert, is through demonstrated incremental mission value and the discipline to start simply and pragmatically, to facilitate rapid value, and then, and only then, to efficiently earn the right to the exponential growth of big capabilities for dramatic advantage. So let's talk about a few of the pragmatic challenges that can be addressed with AI. I'm not going to pitch you, I promise, but I do want to offer a spread of examples from the field in the spirit of getting practical about AI. So lots of people want to think big, but we can get further by initially thinking small. Small is fast, and fast is big. So my hope is that Primer's mindset here can be instructive to you as you pursue your own respective lines of effort. As I said, we look first at Primer at the most practical use cases, things like mission and force planning, predictive logistics, and budgeting. And when customizing our core solutions, we often work backwards directly from the user need to design the product following a mission-tailored approach. We iterate together with the customer. And here are a few of the examples. First example, asset tracking. So today, natural disasters or adversarial action can result in immediate loss of access to airfields, for example. It takes time to plan mission alternatives. Our tools help commanders develop courses of action and drastically reduce the time and resource consumption when assessing risk to assets. By viewing all of their assets and the threat data under a single dashboard and providing predictive AI based on assets, type of aircraft, personnel, and more, those commanders can now make more well-informed decisions and faster. And that applies to the airmen at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida and to the plant manager in an aircraft manufacturing facility in Alabama. So the second example, increased situational awareness. As you know, watch teams operate in ships, and comprehensive information isn't always conveyed during the human-to-human turnover. One of our products, Primer Delta, helps teams extract, summarize, and update all mission-relevant information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. we shouldn't miss something important just because someone had to take a bathroom break. Our technology ingests all the available data and allows watch teams and commanders to see the entire operating picture and make better informed decisions. Next example is mission planning. So each day, military pilots spend thousands of hours performing flight planning, poring over maps, airport requirements, pilot readiness, NOTAMs, and more. In many cases, they're using the same tools that were developed in the 1970s. But we have the capability to automate that entire process and provide go, no-go insight at a greater level of precision, let alone a greater level of speed. And that buys back time for your pilots and flight crews to deliver more value-add work that only they can do elsewhere. And time bought back, it compounds like interest. One more example, intelligence analysts. They need to read and process dozens, hundreds of documents. And to help them do better work, we cue them to read the handful of documents that they need to review first. We extract entities, locations, topics that they care about most, and then we summarize their streams of sometimes messy data. With our AI NLP technologies, we can auto-generate and update many dossiers for people, organizations, and locations from their data, reducing the time to insight from hours to minutes. Analysts can now spend their time on that next level of analysis that they otherwise just wouldn't get to. Now, we understand how important trust and accuracy is for your mission, of course. AI tools must adhere to security standards, and for the intelligence community, we are authorized to operate on the high side on your data in your choice of environment, providing provenance and also granular access controls to ensure security and compliance. And all of this is available in near real time. Think in minutes and hours, not in months and years. Building trust in AI with practical solutions means helping customers seize every efficiency they can as soon as they can. And this is the journey that we're embarking on together. One where you can take the first step with practical and easy to use AI. Now, once value and trust is established, then you can quickly move to more advanced solutions. Get all the low-hanging fruit first. Start by thinking small, because small is fast and fast is big. We don't need magic or science fiction. We need trustworthy, practical AI that rapidly sets the context for exponential growth. So there's a lot of wisdom in this particular room that I get to be in with you now. Einstein famously said that if he had an hour to save the world, he'd spend 55 minutes defining the problem and 5 on the solution. And we are in the 55-minute stage, but we'll get through it faster the more people we have working together on defining the problem. We must come together now to build the capabilities, the know-how, and the safeguards so that every soldier, sailor, airman, and guardian can trust their AI and outthink, outpace, outmaneuver our adversaries. So a question, ask yourself, what if Pearl Harbor had been the whole war for America? Over and done in a single day, single Sunday morning. Fortunately, it wasn't, but that had to do with the nature of the tools of war that were available in 1941. AI at this moment in 2023, it's different. It has the ability to make Pearl Harbor the whole war for America. Look, we don't suffer from a lack of skill or will or a lack of tangible resources. We have most of what we need, and what we lack, we know how to get. There is a supply chain snarl in how the acquisition process works, and the access and the ability to iterate rapidly and innovate, but not in the inputs of that process. So how can we get that acquisition snarl to move faster and put tools in the hands of the warfighter and others who serve our nation? And maybe the most important question, how can we all build trust in AI? Former Defense Secretary Jim Mattis used to say, operations can only move at the speed of trust. So let's build it together with practical AI. It's based on advanced core capabilities that is then customized to meet the mission needs at the tactical edge. So in conclusion, my name is Robert Matney, and I'm with Primer. We hire the best data scientists in the world, and we unite them with veterans with decades of operational experience. We are here for you and ready to talk about AI applications that help you find practical value so that you can win your objectives. I'd love to continue the conversation. You can book a 30-minute chat with me and my colleagues as the dust settles from today's excellent event. So thank you very much for your time today. And if there's time, Chris, I'm happy to take any questions. Chris, over to you.
Thanks so much, Robert. Yeah, we have some time, and I'm going to selfishly ask you one of my own, actually. You know, I was listening, and this brought up a lot. I thought about how recently I was tuned into Defense Department CIO John Sherman, who was talking about the call from some technologists like Elon Musk and a few others who signed an open letter calling for a pause for about, I think it was 6 months, to allow for, Congress and perhaps the White House to formulate some sort of regulatory body, or to really put in some sort of oversight measures due to the, enormous advancements that we've seen. Your session was a lot about, building trust and also moving with speed and agility. What thoughts do you have about the call for that pause, or taking a break? Do you think that sort of goes against what some might be saying? Because I thought back to John Sherman at the Defense Department saying, it would be nearly virtually impossible to implement that across the board, leaving space for potential adversaries overseas to continue their advancements and really drive this while we're taking a break.
This is a great question. And if it's okay, I'm going to answer it in two pieces, because there's two things that are proposed by that group that included Elon, right? And one of them is to stop, right? And I just want to address that head on. That, in my opinion, is a frankly adorable luxury that we do not have. The fact is, we could say, hey, everybody who's a good behavior, we're going to put a pause on this. And you know exactly who's not going to put a pause on it. Precisely the people who are going to be on bad behavior, right? So we just don't have the luxury of the urgency of now to develop great capabilities. That said, I want to caveat it, that intensity and urgency of being thoughtful and smart is absolutely right. And I think there is a meaningful place for a regulatory regime. I think it should be smartly investigated in ways that include the great technologists in the space, not just politicians and congresspeople. But I think it is important to put the right boundaries and constraints. And also, it's the right place for organizations like ours, but also other AI and ML companies, to do their same research, to be thoughtful and assertive about putting ethical boundaries around. All of that underlines our foundational approach, which is, while really snarly questions are getting worked out to make sure that what we do comports with the right compliance, the right rules, the right ethics, the right safeguards. I mean, when lives are on the line, it can't go wrong, right? While those questions are getting arbitrated and handled by companies like ours, we should be deploying the more basic and practical AI that's going to serve missions in ways that frankly aren't controversial, right? So let's build the trust and the success and the effectiveness with things that are practical, whilst we keep our pedal to the metal in terms of rapid innovation. I think by splitting it out that way, we square all those competing equities and we deliver something good for society and great for our war fighters who are going to face these problems and rapidly.
Yeah, it's a careful balancing act, but that definitely seems like it would be the right way forward. And as director of public sector partnerships for Primer, would you say that you see that federal agencies are looking to the private sector, since, as you mentioned, there has been so many enormous efforts to research and to develop good regulatory initiatives around AI across the public sector or private sector. Is the federal government looking to Primer and to other organizations like yours while they build this out?
Yeah, I mean, I will observe that our CEO, Sean Moriarty, our primer federal president, Mark Bruner, have both had thoughtful engagements with security advisors, with Congress people and their staff. I think there is a conversation going on there, and I think that it must continue. So yes, to some degree, I think companies like ours are getting approached for their expertise and insight on these matters.
That's great. Hopefully those partnerships continue to expand, in the future. Well, Robert, thank you so much. This was incredibly informative.